What do we have happening with pay inequity here, starting to shift maybe in the wrong direction for us, Mike?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is now with the whole movement of return to work programs and policies of employers who are now requiring people to come back. And because of that, there's been a lot of issues in terms of, especially female population. The statistics are showing that males are more likely to return to work than females under that circumstance. And so what is happening is the female population then either, if they decide not to come back and they quit and they don't work, which means immediately that affects our gender pay equity ratio. The other thing that's happening is we have clients who are now offering return to work incentives, meaning that they're paying you more if you do return to work.
Okay,
But
well, slow down, Mike. All right,
yeah,
this is the first time I'm hearing this one. So
yeah,
you're seeing a new trend that we're going to incentivize you to return to the office,
correct.
but I just want to remind our listeners, because this was always a fun debate, but we didn't think it was okay to pay someone who worked from home at that time less. Remember that discussion?
That's
So
right.
now, if you're back at the office, or if you come back to the office, we're going to incentivize you with pay.
Right. And the argument that I've heard from some clients and employers is that, well, for you to come back to work, you now have transportation costs, you now have wardrobe costs, you have different costs that you'll be incurring that you didn't have when you were working at home. So
Mm.
in order to balance that, they're now saying we'll give you a differential for coming back to work. And it's interesting because depending on your generation, as a boomer, I'm sitting there going, that's ridiculous. You go
Yeah.
back to work, right? You have a job, you show up, they tell you to come in, you go. But we're dealing with a different generation who is saying, well, maybe I really don't need to be there. I can be very, productive at home. So why should I come back to work?
Bill,
Yeah.
don't you ask yourself that every day? Why should I come back to work? Wait a minute. You love being there. You love
I
being there.
Bert, it's not me that asks it. It's my employees that are like, hey, shouldn't you just work from home at a distance? We don't want to see you every day. We'll come in and run things. Yeah.
All right.
So the impact of that, and again, that you're right. It's almost the same argument we were tracking during COVID when people were their pay was reduced if they worked at home, and there were cases that said, well, wait a minute, no, there's some inadvertent discrimination going on because more
Right.
women were going home, so therefore their pay went down. Now we're saying, well, we're going to give those who come back to work an additional amount, but it turns out it's more males than females. So I think this is going to have the same conclusion as we start going through it.
Level up your HR game with an AIM Employers Association membership. Get 24/7 expert support, exclusive training, and a network of peers. Join thousands of HR leaders building better organizations. Call AIM at 800-948-5700 or visit aimea.org today to learn about becoming a member.